Good morning and welcome to Woodbridge, the best town around. My name is John McCormac and I'm the mayor of this great town, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome Governor Christie to Woodbridge. Before the governor speaks and gets a chance to remind me that his Dallas Cowboys are in first place, while my beloved New York Giants are in last place, let me remind him of our 2 Super Bowl trophies in the last 6 years, while his Cowboys have been home watching the games on TV. I would also like to welcome State Senate President Steve Sweeney, who I had the distinct pleasure of working with in Trenton many years ago. From the governor's cabinet, we have Assistant Commissioner Bob Marshall, representing Commissioner Bob Martin of the Department of Environmental Protection, and the President of the Board of Utilities, Robert Hanna. From Competitive Power Ventures, we have Gary Lambert, the president, and Doug Egan, the chief executive officer, who will introduce their team. From Woodbridge, we have the head of our redevelopment agency, Carolyn Ehrlich, who coordinated this effort on behalf of the township. Today, we celebrate the groundbreaking of the biggest project ever in Woodbridge. Nearly $1 billion will be invested in our town, and over $100 million in tax revenues will flow into our budget over the next 30 years. Hundreds of union members from the building trades will be put to work with a $60 million payroll, and dozens of permanent jobs will be created. These workers will shop here and dine here and provide an economic boost all over our town. An abandoned, unusable, and unproductive 160-acre brownfield site will be partially developed as a power plant, but mostly maintained as vastly improved wetlands. When completed, the township will have the benefit of the Woodbridge Waterfront Park with 2 miles of hiking trails, boardwalks along the river and upland areas, bird blinds, boating areas, ecological signage, and other passive recreation areas. For the first time in dozens of years, there will be public access to the continually improving Raritan River. Carol and I started working on this project in early 2007 with CPV and with the Brownfields Development Area Steering Committee. CPV has been a patient partner and valuable teammate as we all work through the details of this transaction. It has not been easy, and at times was in fact very difficult, but CPV endured. I would now like to introduce Doug Egan of CPV to say a few words.
Well, thank you, Mayor McCormac. I appreciate that. I want to thank all of our partners, the state and local governmental entities that have worked so hard side by side with us, labor, and also the team from CPV that has been working on this since 2007. This is a 700 megawatt project. It is fueled by clean natural gas, and it will help New Jersey meet its growing demand for electricity while improving the reliability and environmental profile of its electric system. The project will power up to 700,000 homes. We are revitalizing a brownfield that sat vacant for years and years. And it will also provide public access to the Raritan River. While the project will use gray water for its uses, we will require up to 500 skilled laborers during construction with a payroll of approximately $50 million. During operation, we will require 25 highly skilled jobs for the project with a payroll of approximately $3.5 million per annum. The economic development beyond that is significant as well. $7 million of tax during construction and roughly $150,000 per year during the first 15 years of operation. The Woodbridge pilot payments and administrative fees are more than $40 million during the first 15 years of operation. The Woodbridge sewer connection will require between $4 and $9 million, and there will be $10 million for reclaimed water supply. I want to thank Governor Christie, President Sweeney, Mayor McCormac for all the hard work that they have had that helped make this project a reality today. And we look forward to working for them in the future as we face whatever challenges might be before us on the project. I would like to say one thing. We've got lots of helmets around here. I don't know exactly where they are, but there's enough for everybody to get a hard hat and take it away with them. And now I would like to introduce a great friend of CPV, Jim Suchu of General Electric.
Thanks, Doug. And on behalf of all my colleagues from GE, I want to thank our good friends at CPV, the state of New Jersey, and obviously the town of Woodbridge for allowing GE to be a part of this great project. It's a good example of the breadth of capacity and capability that GE can provide to the energy industry. You know, our subsidiary, GE Capital, through its subsidiaries, Energy Financial Services and Capital Markets, did a ranging in of $561 million of senior secured credit facilities. The power and water business is providing the engineered equipment package for the advanced gas turbine technology based on our Flex Efficiency 60, which combines world-class efficiency with world-leading operational flexibility. That's going to allow this plant to start and stop and ramp up and down faster and more often, to turn down to lower loads, all while meeting the strict emissions requirements required by the state of New Jersey. That's not only going to provide clean, efficient power for the state, but also support the integration of renewable energies into the grid. This is a great project, and it's a great honor for GE to be involved. And I thank all the participants again. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to a lifelong Woodbridge resident, Mayor John McCormac.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Doug. This project would literally not have happened without our next two speakers. Senate President Steve Sweeney literally sponsored the legislation that made these projects possible, and he worked directly with us to serve the interests of Woodbridge Township. Governor Christie and his administration have been unbelievable since the legislation was passed, with countless meetings in Trenton and on site, and probably hundreds of conversations these last few years. DEP and BPU have been tremendous partners, and we have gotten personal attention from the governor and his office, and from Commissioner Martin and President Hanna. Many times the DEP would call us, literally call us, to set up conference calls and meetings. Mr. Marshall, please tell Commissioner Martin that if he doesn't give Scott Brubaker, Tony Finley, and Cindy Randazzo a raise, then I will. And the next time someone has something negative to say about DEP, please send them my way and I will straighten them out. This project is a perfect example of what can happen when everyone works together. The executive and legislative branches of state government, represented by both political parties, local government, the private sector and their investors, and citizens who care about their town and state. Ladies and gentlemen, our State Senate President, Steve Sweeney.
You know, and don't let John sell himself short. There was no way the bill was going through unless this project was in it, just so you know. So John, honestly, the people of your community, the people of your community are going to benefit from your lobbying efforts, which were extensive, because I'm telling you, we would have never got it done. And to the governor, you know, we couldn't have gotten it done without his support. You know, look, people say construction jobs are temporary jobs. Well, I made a living on a whole lot of temporary jobs. And about 500 families are going to have their families fed and taken care of over the next couple of years because of this project. And then hopefully there'll be more, because this is positive. Projects like this are going to bring the energy costs down. One of the big problems we have in the state of New Jersey is energy costs. Reduction of energy costs brings more businesses into the state. It's all good stuff. Jobs aren't Republican or Democrat, they're jobs. And the governor and I recognize that, and so does the mayor. So working together on issues of importance that actually affect you and I are the things we're supposed to do. Look, we have political campaigns and we're going to do our things in campaigns, but the people that are counting on us to do the right things understand we're going to continue to do that. Because after the campaigns, the public is still there looking and expecting us to do our jobs, and we're going to continue to do that. So Democrats, Republicans, in the midst of major campaigns, we can say nice things about each other and shake each other's hands and mean it, because it's about getting things done. So it's my pleasure to introduce a guy and use, like we joke, because I say all the time, I curse at him a lot. But because we really do disagree on a few things. But what we don't disagree on is jobs and making things better for the people of the state. So Governor is thrilled to be here with you.
Well, good morning, everybody. And John, thanks for hosting us today. And Steve's right. John undersells his role in all this. He has been advocating for Woodbridge ever since I became governor, and certainly well before it. And he played an integral role in making sure that today's groundbreaking happened, and more importantly, that this plant is going to be built. As for Steve, he does curse at me, and I curse at him. And that's part of the beauty of our relationship, because in the end, we feel passionately about the things that we believe in. But here's the difference between what happens in Trenton, New Jersey, and what happens in Washington, D.C. In Trenton, we curse at each other, and then we sit down at a table, and we get things done. In Washington, they curse at each other, and they just keep cursing at each other. And they don't get anything done. And the difference between what's happening in New Jersey and what's happening in Washington, D.C., the effect that it has on people is what you see happening today. What you saw happening at Gloucester County College when Steve and I were together earlier this week, with a new building to help children and families who are dealt with developmental disabilities and now are going to give these young adults an opportunity to reach their full potential. All of these projects, that being the Building Our Future Act, investing $1.3 billion in our state's higher education institutions. Today, the work that we're doing to help build power plants and make energy more affordable for the people of New Jersey, and to make sure that the men and women you see standing to my left and to my right are working as well. Those things are all very important to New Jersey's future and its economy. And as Steve said, it's not a Republican or a Democratic issue. These are the things that we need to get done, that people expect us to get done when they give us the honor and the privilege of having the positions that Steve and I have. So I'm very, very happy to be here today. This also was a vision of the BPU. The BPU, if they were not behind this, it would not have gotten done. And so I want to thank former BPU president, now Judge again, Solomon, who was the one who fought and pushed for this right from the beginning. And it was the ball was picked up by President Hanna, who continued to stay committed to this project. And now we see an $845 million investment that is going to mean lower energy costs for the people of our state. It's going to mean greater ratables here in Woodbridge for the citizens to help control their property taxes, and is going to make sure that we also continue to do the things that we need to do to keep our environment clean and safe. And the Department of Environmental Protection has been involved to that from the beginning. Commissioner Martin has made it a point to say we can find a way to get to yes if ultimately what we're doing is reaching the goals that we need to protect our environment. So thanks to the efforts of all those folks, we're here today. And I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be a part of it. And this type of facility, a state-of-the-art gas-fired facility, continues that mission, the mission of lowering energy costs in New Jersey, which provide more economic opportunity, and the mission of protecting our environment as well. Both things can be done at the same time. And all those folks who tell you that it can't are people with an agenda. Their agenda is to stop facilities like this. Their agenda is to make sure that their particular political philosophy rules the day. That's not what Steve and I are doing here. What we're doing here is to make sure that the priorities and the needs of the citizens of this state are what is addressed, not any particular political philosophy or point of view. You can do it both ways, and if you work together, you're able to find the way to do that. And we've done that, and I'm proud of it. So now we look forward to the construction of this facility and the jobs that that'll create, but just as importantly, the opportunity that will be created for the citizens of this town and for the businesses of the state of New Jersey by having more available, lower-cost energy that is not imported from someplace else across the country, where we are subject to the vagaries of what they decide they want to do when demand goes up, but it's going to be created right here in New Jersey for New Jersey citizens. And we've had too little of that in this state, and we've been too dependent upon out-of-state sources for our energy needs. That's why we pursued the 3 plants that are going to be being built in this state, and why we're continuing to work really hard to make sure that we take every step that's necessary to get these plants built and get them up and operating to help to improve even more the economic circumstances in our state. So I am glad the weather has held off so far. I am not going to test fate by continuing to talk longer and then maybe have it rain. Steve and I don't look good wet, so we're going to get out there and break ground and let all these folks get to work. I thank everybody who had a part to do with all this, and I look forward to coming back here to cutting a ribbon on this plant after all the great work is done by the folks who are going to build it and the folks who are going to operate it, get ready to take it over. So thanks to the Senate President and the members of the legislature who are here, who helped to make this bill possible. Thank you to our private sector partners who are making the building of this plant possible. And thank you finally and most certainly to the mayor, who continues to put the people of Woodbridge first and foremost, and that's why we work so well together and why I continue to think he's one of the best mayors in the state of New Jersey. Thank you all very much.